What happens when a lonely millionaire hears a song in a park? A little girl's voice changes his world and his life will never be the same. A little girl, no older than 8, walks through a bustling park on a warm, sunny afternoon. Her name is Lily, and although her clothes are worn and her shoes have seen better days, she carries with her a lightness that seems to defy her circumstances. She finds an empty bench under a tree, taking a deep breath before sitting down. There's something magical about her presence, despite the rough life she leads. Her single mother works long hours, and Lily spends most of her days in the park, seeking solace in the music she loves to sing. In a quiet corner of the park, a wealthy man, Ethan Harris, sits on a stone bench, surrounded by his thoughts. Ethan is the CEO of a major corporation, successful beyond measure but lonely and emotionally distant. His days are filled with meetings, business calls, and endless responsibilities, and he hasn't known happiness in a long time. His world is ruled by schedules and numbers, and yet, today, something feels different. The air is warm, the park is peaceful, and as he sips his coffee, the sound of a voice, soft and pure, cuts through the noise of the world. Lily, oblivious to the world around her, begins to hum a melody, her voice clear and bright. It's an innocent tune, a lullaby her mother used to sing when life was easier, when the world felt safer. Lily closes her eyes and lets her voice flow, unaware of the power it holds. The sound carries through the park, cutting through the dull hum of city life. Ethan, who had been lost in thought, suddenly stops, his eyes widening as he hears the voice. He turns his head to find the source of the melody. There on the bench beneath the tree is the little girl, her face serene, her eyes closed, lost in her music. Ethan, for the first time in a long while, feels something stir deep within him, something he hasn't felt in years: hope. He's unsure what it is about the voice, but something about her innocence and the beauty of her song makes him want to know more. The world feels different in that moment. A change is in the air, a moment where two completely different lives are about to intersect. Ethan's curiosity pulls him from his seat, and he slowly begins walking toward her, drawn to her voice as if by fate. As Ethan approaches, Lily finishes the last note of her song. She opens her eyes and notices the man standing nearby. She's not used to people paying attention to her, especially not in a park where most people are too busy to notice anyone else. But something about his presence feels different. There's a quiet sadness about him, a depth she can almost sense in the way he looks at her, as though her voice has reached beyond her into the very core of his soul. Ethan stands there for a moment, unsure of what to say, his mind struggling to grasp the significance of the moment. Finally, he takes a step forward and offers a small, tentative smile. He speaks softly, praising her voice, remarking how beautiful and powerful it is. Lily, a bit shy but also flattered, smiles back, unsure of how to respond to such kindness. She had never had much encouragement in her life, let alone from a man who clearly comes from another world. Ethan, noticing the tattered condition of her clothes, is struck by the contrast between her extraordinary talent and her impoverished appearance. Something tugs at his heart, and for the first time in a long time, he feels the urge to act, to do something beyond just observing. Ethan, shaken by a sudden rush of emotion, asks her name. Lily hesitates for a moment, but then, with a shy smile, she introduces herself. She never expects much of a response from the people she meets, and certainly not from someone like him. He seems like someone who has everything, while she has so little. Yet, as the conversation unfolds, she finds herself surprisingly at ease in his presence. As Ethan listens to her speak, he becomes more captivated by her story. Lily tells him about her mother's struggles, working long hours just to keep food on the table, and how she sings to keep herself company in the empty hours of the day. Her life is filled with hardships, yet there's an undeniable brightness to her spirit that Ethan finds both heartbreaking and inspiring. A thought crosses his mind. What if he could help her? What if there was a way to give this little girl a chance to pursue her dreams? He knows he can't erase the difficulties of her life, but maybe he could offer something, an opportunity, a platform, to help her break free from the life she's known. Ethan stands there, contemplating his next move. He knows that opportunities like this don't come often. Here is a young girl with an incredible gift, with a voice that could move mountains, but who has been left behind by life's cruel circumstances. He's witnessed this kind of struggle before in his own life, having come from a world where privilege often shields people from harsh realities. But for Lily, this wasn't just a passing thought. This was her daily reality. The thought of leaving without doing anything feels unbearable. He knows deep down that he can't just walk away from this moment, from the opportunity to make a difference. So, he musters the courage to ask her a question that will change everything. He tells her that he wants to help her. He asks her if she's ever thought about pursuing her passion for singing, if she would ever consider taking her talent further. Lily's face lights up for a moment, then darkens. Her dreams, as big as they might be, have always felt too far out of reach. But the idea of someone like Ethan, believing in her, even for just a moment, is enough to stir something deep inside her. As Ethan and Lily continue their conversation in the park, the weight of their words settles in both of them. For Lily, the suggestion of pursuing her singing seriously feels like a fleeting dream. She's always believed that people like her, people from her background, never get the chance to have their voices heard. But Ethan's persistence is different. He doesn't speak to her like she's someone to be pitied. Instead, he speaks to her like an equal, like an artist with a gift waiting to be nurtured. Ethan doesn't come from a world where people struggle to survive, but he's seen enough of it to know that talent is often buried beneath the surface, unnoticed and uncelebrated. Lily's voice has a rawness to it, a realness that stands out even in the chaotic hum of the busy park. Ethan can't ignore the urge to help her, to find a way for her to share that voice with the world. He tells her he knows a few people in the music industry, people who could help. He doesn't make any promises, but he lets her know that there's a path ahead of her if she's willing to try. Lily's eyes widen as hope flickers in her heart, though she's hesitant to believe it fully. She's learned to protect herself from the heartbreak of unrealistic expectations. But Ethan's warmth and sincerity are impossible to ignore. The park begins to empty, the afternoon sun sinking lower in the sky, but neither of them wants to leave. They talk for hours, sharing their hopes, their frustrations, and their dreams. It feels like a turning point for both of them, like a bridge connecting two vastly different worlds. But that bridge comes with its own set of risks and uncertainties. Ethan knows that getting involved in Lily's life will change things for both of them. Ethan and Lily exchange phone numbers before parting ways that day. As he walks away, Ethan's mind races with possibilities. He's not sure what his next step should be, but he knows one thing for certain: Lily deserves a chance. Her talent is undeniable, and the way her voice reverberates with raw emotion leaves him feeling something he hasn't felt in years: hope. Later that evening, Ethan finds himself thinking about their conversation as he sits at his desk in his luxurious, albeit sterile, office. His wealth and success have afforded him a life of comfort, but it's also made him feel disconnected from the world in ways he never fully realized until today. The sincerity in Lily's voice, the way she carries the weight of her struggles with such grace, is a stark contrast to the superficiality he sees in his own world. His high-rise apartment, expensive suits, and polished social circles all seem distant now, like distractions from something more real, more meaningful. The next day, Ethan reaches out to a few industry contacts, setting up a meeting with a renowned talent manager who specializes in helping young artists. As he sends the email, he can't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. There's no turning back now. He knows that helping Lily will require more than just connections. It will require commitment. It's not going to be easy, but he believes in her. Meanwhile, Lily returns to her small apartment that evening, where she lives with her mother, who's out working a late shift. The thought of what Ethan suggested plays over and over in her mind. She wonders if it's too late for someone like her, too late to chase a dream that feels impossible. The world around her has always been so focused on survival, on making ends meet. Dreaming was something that belonged to other people. But Ethan had sparked something in her. Could she really take that first step? The following day, Ethan arrives at Lily's apartment with a proposal, one that could change her life forever. The following morning, Lily waits anxiously by the window, her thoughts swirling. Ethan's proposal, though unexpected, had given her a flicker of hope. The sound of the doorbell rings through the quiet apartment, and her heart races. She opens the door to find Ethan standing there, holding a folder with the logo of a talent agency she's only ever dreamed of. Ethan greets her with a warm smile, but Lily can sense the weight of the moment in the air. This is it, her chance. But her mind is clouded with doubt. She wonders if she's truly ready for this opportunity. "I've spoken with them," Ethan says, his voice steady but filled with excitement. "They're interested in hearing you. We just need to set up a time for the audition. But it's up to you. This is your moment." Lily's heart thumps in her chest as she looks down at the folder in his hands. The realization hits her like a wave. This isn't a dream anymore. It's real. This could be her big break. But the fear inside her is overpowering. What if she fails? What if she's not good enough? What if she's just a small girl with a big dream destined to stay in the shadows? "Ethan," she whispers, her voice shaking. "I'm not sure. I've never done anything like this before. I'm just a girl from the park. This isn't my world." Ethan steps closer, his expression unwavering. "Lily, you belong in this world. You have a gift. And if you don't take this chance, you'll always wonder what could have been." The words sink in, and slowly, Lily's doubts begin to dissipate. She's not just a girl from the park anymore. She's someone with a future, someone with a voice that deserves to be heard. She nods, the fear still there, but now accompanied by a newfound determination. As Lily prepares for the audition, the weight of the opportunity presses heavily on her. She practices day and night, pouring all her emotions into the song she's chosen. The apartment is filled with the sound of her voice, a voice that has been silenced for so long now, soaring freely, unfettered by the constraints of her life. Ethan continues to check in, offering encouragement and helping with the logistics of the audition. He insists on driving her to the agency, telling her that no matter what happens, he's proud of her for taking the leap. For Lily, these words feel like a lifeline. She's always been her own biggest critic, never believing she was worth the kind of attention that someone like Ethan is offering. The day of the audition arrives, and Lily stands outside the talent agency building, her hands shaking with nerves. The sleek glass building feels like a world she doesn't belong to, but she pushes through the discomfort. She enters the agency, greeted by a well-dressed receptionist who directs her to a room filled with bright lights and a panel of stern-looking professionals. As she steps onto the stage, the room falls silent. All eyes are on her, an unknown girl with big dreams. The spotlight is blinding, but Lily stands tall, trying to calm her racing heart. She takes a deep breath, begins to sing, and the world fades away. The notes flow from her like a river, full of raw emotion and a depth that surprises even herself. Ethan watches from the back of the room, his chest swelling with pride. This is it. She's here. She's making her dreams come true. Lily's performance wraps up, and for a moment, the room is filled with silence. The panelists exchange glances, whispering among themselves. Every second feels like an eternity to Lily, standing frozen under the hot stage lights. She tries to read their expressions, but it's impossible to gauge what they think. Did she mess up? Was it enough? Finally, one of the panelists, a middle-aged man with glasses, stands up, clapping his hands. Well, that was unexpected. Lily's heart skips. Is that a good thing? We've never had someone come in with such raw talent before, the man continues. You've got something special, something we can work with. Lily's breath catches in her throat. Her eyes widen, and she feels her legs weaken as she tries to hold herself upright. This is it. Her dream is finally within her grasp. Another panelist, a woman in her 30s with short blonde hair, smiles at Lily. We'd love to see more of you. Can we schedule another session for you to record a demo? We'll be in touch soon. Lily can hardly believe her ears. Yes, absolutely. She feels her voice crack with emotion, but she holds it together. She bows her head in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you so much. As she exits the room, Ethan is waiting outside, his eyes filled with anticipation. When Lily steps through the door, she practically jumps into his arms. Ethan, they liked me. They want to hear more. This is happening. Ethan hugs her tightly, a smile spreading across his face. I told you. You belong here, Lily. In that moment, Lily feels as if the weight of her life has shifted. She's not the little girl singing in the park anymore. She's someone with a future, and the road ahead, though uncertain, holds more promise than ever before. The following weeks are a blur of excitement and preparation. Lily works tirelessly, practicing her vocal range and learning new songs. She spends countless hours in the studio, recording demo after demo. Each time she steps into that space, she feels more at home. The people at the agency are kind, encouraging, and they see the potential in her, something she's never felt before. Ethan remains by her side, helping with everything from logistical support to keeping her grounded when the pressure becomes overwhelming. He's there when the nerves hit, reminding her that she has a gift, one that is meant to be shared with the world. But as much as Lily's dream is finally coming true, there's a lingering fear. What if she's not enough? What if she fails? She tries to push those thoughts aside, but they gnaw at her. Every new step she takes feels like walking on thin ice, and the deeper she goes, the more she fears falling. One day, while practicing in the studio, Lily overhears a conversation between two of the agency's executives. They're discussing the latest talent they're working with, comparing it to others. Lily catches her name and her heart races as she tries to eavesdrop without being noticed. She's got something, one of the executives says, but does she have the polish, the stage presence? Lily's stomach churns. She wonders if they'll decide she's not ready, if they'll give up on her before she even gets the chance to prove herself. Ethan, sensing her anxiety, finds her afterward, sitting alone in the studio, staring blankly at the floor. He sits beside her, not saying anything at first. He knows she's worried. I'm not ready, she says quietly. I don't think I have what it takes. Ethan places a hand on her shoulder. You're already doing it, Lily. You're here and you're amazing. You just have to keep going. You belong here more than anyone. Lily nods, taking a deep breath. She knows he's right. But the fear remains, like a shadow she can't shake. Lily's first public performance is just days away. She's been practicing tirelessly, but the nerves are beginning to eat at her. This is the moment that will decide everything, whether her dream will live or die. The pressure is insurmountable, and as the day approaches, she starts to doubt herself. What if she fails? What if she forgets the lyrics? Or worse, what if the audience doesn't connect with her? The night before the big performance, she's pacing in her small apartment, trying to distract herself from the overwhelming feeling of impending doom. Ethan is at his friend's house for the evening, leaving Lily with her thoughts. That's when the phone rings. It's the agency's head, Richard Caldwell, the man who saw her potential and gave her this chance. His voice is calm, yet there's something in it that makes Lily stop dead in her tracks. Lily, he begins, I need to talk to you about something important. Her stomach flips and she feels the ground shift beneath her. What is it? We've been getting a lot of attention for you. Some of it's great, but some of it's concerning. There's a major producer in town, one of the biggest names in the industry, and he wants to meet you. But there's a catch. He has a particular vision for your image. It could help, but it could also change who you are. Lily feels her breath catch. This is the break she's been waiting for, but at what cost? How much of herself will she need to sacrifice to reach the top? Do you want this? Richard presses. Lily stands in silence, staring out of her window. The city lights twinkle in the distance, but she feels distant from everything. The decision weighs on her. She knows what's at stake, but does she want to lose herself in the process? I don't know, she whispers. The next morning, Lily wakes up early, feeling a mix of dread and anticipation. She stands in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection, trying to reconcile the woman she is with the woman she might have to become. The offer looms in her mind, and she feels a heaviness settle over her heart. This decision will change everything. But deep down, she knows that it's not just about her anymore. It's about Ethan, too. Her dream might be the only way to give him a life she never had. The performance is only a few hours away. She takes a deep breath, trying to calm the churning in her stomach. She wears the dress she picked out a week ago, something simple but elegant. It's not too flashy, not too bold, but just enough to show that she's ready. As she walks into the venue, the familiar nerves start to creep up again. The stage is set, the lights are bright, and the audience is seated. It feels surreal, like she's about to step into a world she doesn't belong to. She's escorted backstage where the team is making last-minute preparations. As the countdown begins, Lily's mind races with thoughts of the phone call, the choice she still hasn't made. She feels like she's standing at the edge of a precipice, and one misstep could send her tumbling into the unknown. But then she hears the sound of a familiar voice. Ethan. He's standing just beyond the curtain, watching her with wide eyes filled with pride and admiration. She hasn't seen him all day, but there he is, smiling, cheering her on in his own way. In that moment, everything becomes clear. She doesn't have to change who she is to make her dreams come true. The love and support she's always had will carry her through. The decision is no longer about fame, but about staying true to herself. The spotlight shines down, and Lily steps onto the stage, her heart racing. She looks out into the crowd, her hands trembling, but she's ready. This is her moment, and no matter what happens next, she's going to give it everything she has. As the music begins, Lily takes a deep breath and starts to sing. The first few notes are shaky, but she finds her rhythm quickly. The sound of her voice fills the venue, raw and pure, resonating with the emotions she's carried with her for so long. The crowd is silent, hanging on every word. It's as if they can feel her vulnerability, her journey, and her pain. With each note, Lily becomes more confident. The nerves begin to fade, replaced by a powerful sense of connection with her audience. She can see the faces in the crowd, their expressions softening as they listen to her sing with all the heart and soul she's kept hidden for so long. And then, she locks eyes with someone in the audience. It's Richard Caldwell. He's sitting near the front, his face serious but filled with something else. Pride, maybe even admiration. Lily can feel his gaze, and it makes her want to give even more. The music swells as she reaches the high note, and it's as if time stands still. The audience holds its breath, waiting, and Lily pushes herself harder. She sings with everything inside her, leaving nothing behind. She's not performing for the industry anymore. She's performing for herself, for Ethan, and for anyone who's ever felt like they weren't enough. As the last note rings out, there's a beat of silence. Then the crowd erupts into applause. The roar is deafening, overwhelming. Tears prick at the corners of Lily's eyes, but she holds them back, her chest swelling with pride. Backstage, Lily stands in front of the mirror again, this time with a smile on her face. The performance is over, and she can't quite believe what just happened. The applause still echoes in her mind. She did it. She showed the world who she is, and they responded. Ethan runs up to her, his face glowing with excitement. "You were amazing, Lily. I knew you could do it." She hugs him tightly, feeling the warmth of his words wrap around her. For the first time in her life, she feels like she's exactly where she's supposed to be. This is just the beginning. The world may have been slow to notice her, but now it's impossible to ignore her. Richard Caldwell approaches, his smile genuine. "Lily, that was incredible. I knew you had it in you. I think it's time we take this to the next level." Lily takes a deep breath, her nerves still present but tempered by a newfound confidence. She smiles back at Richard. "I'm ready." The journey has just begun. And for Lily, there's nothing she can't achieve now. The following weeks bring a whirlwind of changes. Lily's life has shifted in ways she never thought possible. Her name is becoming known in the industry, and her music is being played on the radio. Richard has become a strong ally, and her confidence continues to grow. The offers come pouring in, and Lily feels the weight of her choices start to sink in. Despite the success, something is different. Lily doesn't feel the same hunger for fame she once did. There's a quiet part of her that longs for a simpler life, a life where she can balance her dreams with her son's needs. But as the opportunities increase, it becomes harder to resist the pull of the spotlight. Ethan has blossomed in this new chapter too. His pride in his mother is evident every day, and the bond between them has deepened. He now attends a better school, one that offers him opportunities he never would have had before. He's excelling, his dreams starting to take shape, all because Lily chose to take that first step toward her own. But with all the excitement comes the struggle of maintaining balance. There are days when Lily feels overwhelmed by the weight of expectations, her responsibilities to her career, her son, and herself. It's a delicate dance, and sometimes she feels as though she might lose her footing. One evening, she finds herself sitting on the couch with Ethan, watching him do his homework. The silence is comfortable, and as she looks at him, she can't help but reflect on the sacrifices she's made. She's changed, and so has he. They've grown together, but at what cost? Ethan breaks the silence. "Mom, do you think I could be like you one day?" Lily smiles, brushing a strand of hair from his face. "You can be anything you want, Ethan. Just remember, no matter how far you go, I'll always be here." His face lights up, and Lily feels a sense of peace wash over her. Despite everything that's changed, one thing remains constant: the love between them. It's this love that keeps her grounded, no matter how high she climbs. Lily stands at the balcony of her new home, the city spread out before her. The skyline is breathtaking, the lights twinkling like stars. Her success has taken her farther than she ever imagined, but there's a quiet emptiness in her heart. The glamorous world she's now a part of doesn't bring the joy she thought it would. It's late, and the house is silent, but Lily can't shake the feeling that something is missing. She looks down at her phone, scrolling through messages, but none of them fill the void. The fame, the applause, the opportunities, they're all fleeting in comparison to the lasting happiness she seeks. As she stares at the city, deep in thought, her phone buzzes. It's a message from Richard. "Lily, we have another offer for you. But this time, I want you to think carefully. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, but it will require more than you're used to. Are you ready for it?" Lily closes her eyes and exhales slowly. She's faced so many decisions before, but this one feels different. This isn't just about her career anymore. It's about the life she wants for herself and Ethan. The next day, she visits Ethan at his school, a place where she feels truly connected to him. Watching him interact with his classmates, she realizes how far they've come together. Her heart swells with pride as she realizes that the success she's found is not just hers to celebrate, it's theirs. That evening, when she arrives home, she makes a decision. She picks up the phone and calls Richard. "I'm ready," she says, her voice firm and clear, "but only if we do it on my terms." This time, Lily is taking control, not just of her career, but of her life. The power to choose has always been in her hands, and now she's using it to build the future she wants for herself and Ethan. Months pass, and life for Lily and Ethan has transformed in ways they couldn't have imagined. The decision Lily made, to take control of her future, has led to a world of possibilities, not just for her career, but for the life she's building for her son. Lily's music career is thriving, but it's no longer her main focus. Instead of chasing the next big hit, she's using her platform to give back. She's launched a foundation that supports young, aspiring musicians who come from backgrounds like hers. The foundation is a testament to the woman she's become, a woman who understands the power of dreams and the responsibility that comes with them. Ethan, too, has blossomed. He's excelling in school and has even taken up music himself. The spark in his eyes is a constant reminder of why Lily does everything she does. She watches him with pride, knowing that he's on his way to achieving his own dreams, and he has the tools and opportunities to make them a reality. The balance between her career and motherhood has become second nature to Lily. She's learned how to prioritize her family without sacrificing her ambitions. The support from Richard and the team around her has made this transition possible, but the real driving force is her unshakable love for Ethan. One afternoon, as she sits in the park where it all began, she reflects on her journey. The park, once a quiet place where she sang for herself, now symbolizes the strength and resilience she's built. The world around her is busy, but Lily is at peace. She watches Ethan play with his friends, his laughter filling the air. The joy in his face reminds her of everything she's worked for. She thinks back to that day in the park when her voice first caught Richard's attention, how everything changed in an instant, the twists of fate that led her to this moment. It's almost surreal. But now Lily knows she's not just a product of circumstances, she's the architect of her own destiny. The sun sets as Lily and Ethan sit together on the balcony of their new home, overlooking the city. They've come a long way, and while their journey isn't over, they've reached a place of peace. Lily reflects on the moments that led her here: the park, the chance encounter with Richard, the difficult decisions, and the sacrifices. Through it all, she's never lost sight of what truly matters: her son's happiness, their family's well-being, and her own sense of fulfillment. The world may change around them, but their bond remains unshaken. Ethan looks up at her, his eyes filled with hope. "Mom, I think I want to be a musician like you." Lily smiles, her heart swelling with pride. "You can be anything you want, Ethan. The sky's the limit." With a gentle touch, she brushes his hair back, feeling a sense of satisfaction, not just from her career, but from the realization that she's done more than just succeed. She's built a legacy. In the final moments, Lily looks at the city below and smiles. The lights twinkle like stars, reminding her that the future is hers to shape. She knows that the journey ahead will come with challenges, but she's ready to face them with the same strength and love that has guided her this far. As the screen fades to black, Lily's voice echoes soft and steady. Sometimes, it's the smallest moments that change everything, and in those moments, we find the strength to create the life we deserve. Lily's journey shows us the power of resilience and the incredible transformations that happen when we decide to follow our own path. What moment in your life changed everything for you? How did it shape the person you are today? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know how you've overcome challenges to pursue your dreams. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more inspiring stories.